Hello, Sandy.
Hello. There was no screen. Hello and welcome to Under the Influence. Filling in for Jonathan Phipps today, and we have our special guest, Rory Penland. Welcome, Rory.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
I don't know why my screen keeps going black, but okay. Today is the
I can
12th
see you. You're fine.
episode. Oh, you can see me. Okay.
Yes.
Couldn't. Today is the 12th episode of Under the Influence. So you are the number 12 guest, and I know Jonathan's been waiting a long time to have you on the show, and we are going to be talking about the Rat Pack. Is this correct?
Correct. Yeah,
Yay!
I gave him a couple of ideas of things to do, and I think we were going to talk about the Star Wars soundtrack for the first movie, or it's actually the fourth one, and this one and another one. I think we were going to talk about an Orbison or something, but he chose this one, and this it's called Live at the Sands. It's a live recording of one of their performances at the Sands Copa Room in Las Vegas back in,
Mhm.
I guess it was around 1963, 64. And before I moved to China, I listened to this a lot, and I just really enjoyed it. And listening to it today to make my notes for the show, I'm a little embarrassed because there's a lot of really inappropriate humor in this particular CD, in this particular show. And that's mostly due to their comedy writer, Joey Bishop, who's not on the show. It's just Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Sammy Davis Jr. But he wrote all of their stage shtick, that they did together in the show. And again, there's a lot of offensive stuff in there. Black African American humor, poking fun at Sammy Davis Jr., poking fun of the Jewish community, because of Sammy Davis Jr., a lot of gay bashing. So again, I'm listening to it today. I'm like, oh my God. But
Yeah,
again, it is a time capsule. It is a performance saved for posterity with, three of the greatest performers on stage at that time.
yeah. I was listening to a little bit earlier what you sent me, and I think you sing a lot of that stuff. Like I've heard you sing some
Yeah,
of the
yeah. I
songs.
actually sing Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. So, I mean, a few of those songs, again, going back and listening to it today, I was like, why did they pick these songs, these particular songs? Because there's a lot of there's a lot of songs that are not their mainstays in this. I made a list, actually. Again, this was in the Copa Room. It was run by the guy who started the Copacabana in New York City, and this
Mm,
was his Vegas club. And he basically controlled all of the top talent in Vegas at that time.
sure,
Um,
sure.
and yeah, I mean, he started with Dean Martin doing the performances in the Sands, and Frank joined him on stage for the first time in 1959 in January, and
Oh,
it
wow.
was unbelievable. It was like everybody that wrote about it at the time said it was one of the most incredible shows they'd ever seen because they're dynamic on stage. They're cutting up with each other. Again,
Yeah,
these guys would smoke on stage. They would drink on stage. They even ended up bringing a trolley with drinks on the stage as part of the show.
wow.
So I mean, they just ruled.
Yeah.
Um, so Dean Martin comes out. Um, Most people know today that the whole drunk act was that it was just an act. It wasn't real. He never really got drunk like the rest of them did. I mean, he was
Oh.
very careful, but he did the shtick. He was the drunk on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he comes in with the very um, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, direct from the bar, Mr. Dean Martin. I mean, from the very get go, we're hearing stuff from about him drinking during his performance, and he does a little medley. I like In Vegas, I Love Vegas, which is done to I Love Paris, which I've done that on stage before. I've done that version of it. Um, um, the thing that they used to say all the time when they would really push the edge of comedy was just trying to have a little fun here, folks.
That was like their shtick. They had a shtick.
Yeah, just trying to have a little fun here, folks. Yeah, that's how they would always kind of brush off, like again, the very inappropriate lines that they would do in the show. It's June and January is one of the first songs that he does, and again, most of it is just shtick. It's again, the song is pretty much forgotten at that point.
Mm.
The band, they have a live band on stage. They have different actually conductors would come up for the different performers and lead the band. And and again, Dean Martin is very smooth on stage. A lot of it is comedy. And as he sings, give me a chord instead of give me a chord. You get any on you? When a band hits a really
well, they were all
powerful
friends,
note.
right? From what I understand, the Rat Pack, they were all friends before this whole thing started. They started as
before
friends
they were
first.
performing on stage together. They were known as the Rat Pack, and we talked about this before the show.
Mm-hmm.
Humphrey Bogart used to go out and drink with them and party with them.
Yeah.
And one night when they brought him home late, he was with Lauren Bacall. He had already married Lauren Bacall, and she greeted them at the door. They brought him home drunk, and she said, "You look like a bunch of drowned rats." And that's where they got their name.
Started back in New York City, I believe, or Brooklyn, maybe.
Very possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Also, have you ever been to the Copacabana?
By the time I made my second trip to Vegas, I really wish that I had visited on my first trip to Vegas, but I didn't. By the time I went to my second, they had just bulldozed the Sands Hotel.
Oh, the Sands. No, but the Copacabana is in New York City.
Oh, no. I've never been to the Copacabana in New York.
I have been there. It's really cool.
They were doing Live at the Sands, the show, with impersonators at another hotel, which I saw when I went there in 2004. And that was a pretty cool show.
Yeah. All the great shows were in Vegas, but you said like there was a connection with the Sands owner and the Copacabana, but also I know that movie Casino, with all the great actors in that movie. There's in the beginning when he starts first dating his wife from Long Island. He takes her on a date to the Copacabana, and that's where all the mafia was hanging out too, back in the day. Yeah. And he walks her through the kitchen. That's a famous scene.
And Joe Pesci,
Yes, but before the scene with Joe Pesci getting like with a bad joke, he walks Lorraine. I think her name was Lorraine. He walks Lorraine through the kitchen, through the back door. There was like a line going like down the blocks in New York City to get in of the Copacabana, and he would always sneak her through the kitchen through the side door. They had a little thing, and he paid everybody, and they get their seats seated right away, and there's people would be standing for hours out in the street. But that movie those movies have a lot of Rat Pack references and songs.
But in actuality, those shows that they did together, that was basically for Frank. He enjoyed those shows more than the other guys did. They actually enjoyed performing, without interruption on their own. But Frank had so much fun doing those shows with the other two, or with the pack, because Peter Lawford would join in later, and Joey Bishop would get into the act, even though he was writing for them. He wasn't on stage all the time. He started getting into the act, so that was mostly Frank. And as a matter of fact, on this album, you heard like these jingle bells at one point, and Dean Martin makes a comment, "I'll get off soon enough." It's Frank telling him, "Hey, I want to come on soon."
I love it.
So Dean Martin sings Via Veneto, which again is not one of his mainstays. Then he does a medley of Valerian on An Evening in Roma, which is probably the best part of the Dean Martin performance on this. And then his set ends. Frank Sinatra comes on.
Yeah.
And he sings I Only Have Eyes for You, and it's a syncopated version. It's very different from the original version. He gives his customary nod to the songwriters, Sammy Cahn and Jimmy Van Heusen, who wrote a lot of his music. Call Me Irresponsible was his next song. My Heart Stood Still. This, again, is weak. It's not one of his mainstays. It's, it's like, why are these songs here? This is not the strong stuff. This is not the really good stuff. But then he moves on to Please Be Kind. And this song, you can tell he just owns the stage. He owns the band. It's remarkable. But you realize Dean is sitting by. He's making comments and stuff to Dean on the sideline. And then he does I Have Dreamed, which is from The King and I. And again, we're not sure why this is here. This is kind of an odd choice, but he wanted to do it, I guess. And then we have a long set of shtick between him and Dean, where they bring out the drink cart, and they're making drinks for each other. And
gosh, could you imagine hanging out with all those guys on stage? Like, oh my goodness.
Oh, man.
Was so amazing.
At that time, they were the tops. I mean, but Dean Martin is taking pokes at Wayne Newton, who was just getting known at the time for Dankeschön. He says Achtelliebe at one point. They make fun of Bob Dylan. He said, if I'd had a hammer, I'd smack you in the mouth. So they're making fun of other guys at the time.
But they got away with it. They could. No one's going to take them off stage, and they could get away with it.
And then Frank does Luck Be a Lady. And oh my God. They did a lot of the songs from Guys and Dolls in this performance. And this one is really powerful. So much so, and it grabbed me so hard that I ended up putting it into my Frank show, because it's just one of his most powerful songs. And he didn't sing it in the movie. Marlon Brando was playing that character, and he sung it in the movie.
Wow.
And it was terrible. It's just terrible. Marlon Brando should not sing Luck Be a Lady Tonight. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
But when Frank sang it, oh my God, powerful.
Yeah, I love Frank.
You can hear Lucille Ball laughing in the back of the room during this, which is really funny. You can hear her kind of cackle, because she was a smoker. You can hear her. It's very distinct.
That's what I was going to say.
They actually make her bow at the end of the set. They bring her up and make her bow.
That's what I was going to say. We got to tell people about not only how cool they were and what they were doing, but like the crowd that got in to see their shows was a specific crowd. I mean, you weren't
at the end
anybody if you got in to see their show live.
Obviously the man, his name is Tommy Sands, and his wife were there. Jimmy Van Hoosen, the songwriter that they talked about earlier on, was there. Buddy Rich, the famous drummer, was in the crowd that night. Maya Britt, I'm guessing she was a singer. And Jeannie, of course, Dean Martin's wife, was there, and they made them all stand up and bow, for the crowd. Let the crowd know, hey, you're amongst, there's a lot of great people in the room. This was only a 389 seats, I think. I wrote that down somewhere.
Yeah, I can just
398 seats, so just under 400 seats. So shows usually were sold out.
I can imagine how cool that would be.
So,
and wasn't Marilyn Monroe? I think, they called her like part of the, the Rat Pack viewers. She was like one of the regulars there that would go see them.
Yeah, Lucille Ball was a regular. Yeah, she used to go a lot to their shows. After a medley of some different songs, which they kind of botch up on purpose for comedy, they do together, Dean Martin and Frank. They finally let Sammy come out. And then it's a trio. Again, a lot of pokes at him. How come we wear pants and he wears leotards? That's the nicest one they did.
But he went with it. He hung out with them. They were all friends. He handled it.
He went with it. Then he sings "Lady is a Tramp," which is a jewel on this performance. He starts to do "All the Way" because Sammy used to do very good impressions. He was an impersonator. He used to do impressions, and he was trying to do Nat King Cole and Tony Bennett and Vaughn Monroe, who was a big singer at the time, and even Dean Martin. But of course, they keep interrupting. They keep stopping him. And finally, that's it. He's done. He only gets 2 songs, which is sad because he really is a marvelous performer, a wonderful, wonderful performer, a very talented, multi-talented performer in singing and dancing and impressions. He could play the drums. And again, even though the shtick is pointed to him a lot, he fires back and he really does zing them several times during the performance, which is good. I mean, he gets equal time, but he doesn't get equal time as far as song, as music. Then they go back to the Guys and the Dolls, the oldest established permanent floating crap game, which they sing twice in the set. They go back to it at the end. Sammy is brought out again. He does the introductions of the band leaders, and that's when they bring out the celebrities in the crowd. And then they close again with the oldest established permanent floating crap game from Guys and Dolls, and then you hear the music, da 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 da, which is they called it the ring-a-ding theme, ring-a-ding-ding, and that's the CD. That's the whole set. And again, it's surprising that Sammy gets so little time on it compared to the other two.
And what year did that come out? Do you know what year?
Huh?
Do you know what year that came out on the album?
That particular set, I think, was in 1963.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and Charlie says he wants to know if Dean Martin was really drunk or was he acting?
No.
Because it was painful to watch him.
It was a routine.
It was
again, he got a lot of laughs off of that, but he was actually he wasn't a teetotaler, but he was very careful about not to drink too much, as the others did. The others would get pretty drunk.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that was because of Frank. They were all following Frank's lead. And Frank was a drinker and a womanizer. And man, he partied. And when he partied, he wanted you to party with him.
Sure. It's like a rock star life. Early day rock
Martin even says at one point, right at this moment, folks, Frank is in the back punching a dealer in the mouth. And there's another thing. In the set, there's a lot of nods to Vegas itself, just like when Elvis did Viva Las Vegas. Don't worry about losing your money, folks. You're going to have a good time. That kind of thing. There was a lot of that going on in the music and in the performance. They wanted people to come to Vegas. It was an ad for Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. And also because a lot of the mafia got into the casino business back then. The New Yorkers
they didn't
took
want
their money out to Vegas.
They didn't want this city in the desert, to fold. They didn't want it to go under.
Right.
So they had to bring out the big names in entertainment to perform. And Dean Martin even makes a joke. Oh man, you can come here and you can drink here, but don't eat here. He's some of the cheap buffets and stuff that they give, the free buffets and things that you get in Vegas.
Yeah, because they get spoiled with that good New York restaurant stuff. Good restaurants there.
Yeah, so this really is indicative of the kind of they were trying to pull people into Vegas. They were trying to rake in the crowd to come and watch the big stars and gamble and basically lose their money.
Gosh, I would love to just go and sit there and not only watch them perform, but just to sit there and be in awe of the guest list and who's sitting in the audience. I would just be like, oh my gosh. I'd have.
Yeah, I mean, again, today there's different acts. I mean, the best I could say was I saw the Blue Man Group when I was there one time.
Oh yeah, where they dance.
I didn't get into Brad Garrett's club. I should have gone into Brad Garrett's club while I was there because his comedy club is supposed to be the best. And
oh wow,
we all love Brad Garrett. From Who Loves Raymond or Everybody Loves Raymond.
Well, I see a future for you in Vegas, Rory.
We'll see. We'll see. Again, I'm
You're
hoping
going to
that
be too far
what
from
we do
me.
later tonight at 9 o'clock tonight, I'm going to do 600 voices, and hopefully I've created a new world's record, the most voices done in a sitting in less than an hour. And I'm hoping to do it in about 40 minutes. I might even beat that. I was doing a little practicing earlier tonight once I got the PowerPoint presentation finished, and it's like, wow, you can really zip through these pretty fast. So we'll see. We'll see
Well,
how
now
it
you
goes.
got me wanting to put on this Rat Pack music. I want to tell Alexa to play it for me because, I mean, we like to listen to that music when we make pizza at our house. It just sets the mood, like it just sets the mood. And I just love all those. Oh, no, she's talking to me. No, I just love all those. I love all those movies, Ocean's 11, Casino, all the Goodfellas. I love all those movies. I love when they play the classic music in the background.
The Ocean's 11 with Brad Pitt and George Clooney and all. That's a remake of one of the original Rat Pack films from the early '60s, that had Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and Joey Bishop and Sammy Davis Jr. all in it. They were the Rat Pack. So, but Ocean's 11 was and Angie Dickinson. She was one of their girls that used to hang out with them.
Wow.
And Margaret was a Vegas girl too. She used to hang out with a lot of people in Vegas. Yeah.
Probably Hugh Hefner too.
Probably. Yeah,
I think he's around. Well, he was probably a little younger. He might have been a little younger.
There's probably a big there's probably a Playboy club there, I'm guessing, in Vegas, but the big one is in California, I would imagine. I think that's where he's from. But they actually had a problem at that time in the early '60s with the nude shows were coming and trying to open up. They were trying to prevent that. They were trying to stop that. They thought that the entertainment should be, family, quality, value. And this ironically coming from guys who are, making jokes on stage. I mean, it wasn't a G-rated show, but it wasn't nudity either.
Yeah, they were trying to build a city or increase tourism.
But now, you've got the other strip, the new Las Vegas, with the Bellagio and the MGM Grand and those hotels all over there, and the old strip is all but dead. I mean, that's where the Sands was. It's back over on the old strip, and they pulled a lot of that over.
The Flamingo, the Sands. There's a bunch of them that have been there for a long time.
But I do love to go to Vegas.
Yeah, I can't stay there too long. I could do maybe 2 days. 2 days, 3 days maximum.
2 or 3 days, and then I'm ready to go.
2 days maximum for me. I need to get out of there. I need to be near the ocean.
I got married there.
You did?
Yes, I got married at the Viva Las Vegas Motel.
Seriously?
It was a 15-minute ceremony, and I think you got a limousine ride with it, and
again, wow, you need to post some
you and your party can stay in the hotel there.
You need to post those pictures for us.
Well, they're actually on my feed way back in the day, and
oh my gosh!
But my name's on the marquee there, and I actually went back with my daughter a couple of years ago when we were on our way out of the country to go to Europe. We stopped by America first, so she could use her passport, her American passport, and I decided to take her to Vegas because she had never seen it, and to the Grand Canyon, which is right near Vegas. It's a short drive. So
wow.
We went to the Viva Vegas Motel, and I showed her, this is where your mom and I got married.
Wow.
I wanted to do a big wedding, but my wife was like, no, let's not waste all that money. Let's just do a quick wedding. That should have been a red flag, I think. But we've been married for over 15 years now.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people get married there. I have some friends that got married there too. A lot of celebrities get married there. You could do it's like a one-stop shop. You could do everything.
Well, yeah, and again, I mean, and we didn't do the Elvis, marrying us or Spock marrying us or anything like that. You could have gotten that package,
Yeah.
but we just got a standard minister. She was very nice and she did a really great job. And again, it was very quick. They hustle you through. But pretty funny.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
it's a marriage.
Charlie said Anne Margaret was hot. And he said he
Yeah,
has sooner desire to go to Vegas. If he went, he would hike in the desert.
that is a serious desert in the daytime. We stopped to take some pictures on our way to the Grand Canyon, and man, I mean, it is hot out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wouldn't last very long without AC out there.
No. Yeah, this is a good time to right now is a good time to go, a good time of year because it's not too hot. But come August, July, the end of July and August, September, woo-wee. Like John Phipps would say, you can fry an egg on the sidewalk.
Yeah. So they stopped performing together, the Rat Pack, for a long time, and then Dean had a tragedy in his life. I think he lost a son, and Frank suggested that they go back out on the road again. This was, gosh, probably the late '80s, maybe. Might even be the early '90s. And Dean went with them for like a month maybe, and then pulled out. It wasn't helping him. It wasn't making him happier at all. And it was making Frank happier. He was doing it again. And Sammy stuck with him. And they ended up bringing in Liza Minnelli, I think, to do her mom's song. Because Judy Garland used to hang out with them too, I think.
Wow.
So,
that's amazing.
Yeah. So, and then Frank went out on the road after that. When they decided they didn't want to do it anymore, he continued to keep singing, for a while until, probably until he passed away. And then his son took over and started traveling around doing Frank shows. Frank Jr. So,
yeah, I grew up listening to Frank Sinatra. Not my parents. My parents didn't listen to that genre, but all my friends' parents can get in the car with my friends' parents, and they would be listening to that genre of music all the time. That was just part of life in New York.
Well, I always thought Dean Martin was cool, and so when I saw this CD in a store, and it was on sale, I believe, in a CD store back when we used to buy CDs.
Yeah.
I went ahead and picked it up. I think it was $5.99 or $6.99. I said, "Oh, I'll give that a listen," and I really enjoyed it at the time. I really enjoyed the camaraderie, the joking around with each other on the stage. And again, Dean is just so smooth. I mean, it's just nothing can rattle.
I want to watch it now. I want to see it. I'm going to go investigate after this show.
But now I watch it and I was cringing at all the, the gay bashing and
all the stuff. Oh, yeah.
Sammy and stuff. I was like, why did you guys have to go that far? Just trying to have a little fun, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, even the cartoons back then, or some of them are like that. Just not correct.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was one, the Dick Tracy cartoon. They used to have a lot of really heavy stereotypes. Go-Go Gomez and Joe Jitsu. It's just terrible. I mean, you don't, and again, there's a reason why you don't see those anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They buried them.
Well, let's see. It's 4:30. 4:30 my time. So
it's 7:30 here. 7:31.
Is this an hour show or should we wrap it up?
Again, I've said my piece pretty much about the CD and about the Rat Pack. Again,
I want to go hear it. I'm going to go put it on.
Martin and again, I do need to get ready for the other show, but thanks for having me. Tell Jonathan, thank you for having me on, and again, it's been a lot of fun as far as these kind of performers.
Yeah, now you got me jammed up to watch. I want to go look at some.
Overhead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's always planes. But now I'm jammed up. I want to go hear. The whole album, and I want to look up and see more of the celebrities.
You can find it. Yeah, it's free on YouTube. You can find it. It's called Live at the Sands, and
Yeah.
definitely worth a listen.
Oh yeah, I make some
It's a
Italian
time
food.
capsule. It's the way things were back in the early '60s.
Yeah, that's how we like to cook Italian food, pizza, and listen to that kind of music while we cook, and it just sets the mood. Put on a candle. I love the old. I love that old stuff. Well, for me, it's older stuff.
Or for making like food, I would say just get the best hits of Dean Martin.
I love Dean Martin.
That
Yeah,
would be perfect. Or the best hits of Frank Sinatra, even.
I love
This has got a lot of stage shtick on it, which would kind of take away from the
the
from the
cooking.
making the food, I
I
think.
don't know. We have
But it is
good
fun to watch,
cooking.
or it's fun to listen. There's actually a video somewhere, yeah, that has them doing this act on stage. Uh, and surprisingly, Johnny Carson is the host. He's the one hosting because Joey Bishop had to do something else. So Johnny Carson is the one that's bringing them up, and he has fun with them. And
I love Johnny Carson.
you can actually see it if you can find it. I don't know if that's on YouTube or not. I should look for that.
Charlie said he's going to have to listen to some Frank Sinatra. Yeah, Charlie, me too. I know. Rory got us jammed up. Got me jammed up.
I'm gonna live until I die. Gonna laugh, not gonna cry.
I'm gonna listen to it. All right, well we'll cut her up, we'll wrap her up and put a bow on it, and everybody go listen to the Rat Pack today. Rory got me jammed up. Now I want to go listen to it, and thank you, Rory, for coming on the show, and good luck to the. I'm gonna watch your show. I'm gonna watch your show and hopefully tag some people for you. And
please do.
Thank you everybody for watching and coming. And Renee
600 voices.
Yaworsky, big shout out. 601.
601.
601, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Let's go.
And to close.
Let's go, buddy. Come on. All right. Well, best of luck to you, Rory. I know everything you do is going to be wonderful. I can't wait to watch. And thank you for coming on the show of Under the Influence series, episode 12.
Well.
Yep. All right. Thank you.